tell me, how did you hear about the Grammy nomination?
Actually, hearing about the Grammy nomination, I was watching the nominations live. I was visiting some family in Greece. I had just finished up a European tour, and we went out for dinner because of the time change. And so we gathered around the TV in our Airbnb and watched together. And so I actually got to find out about the nomination with my partner and my aunt. We had a great time celebrating afterwards.
Is this nomination, which nomination is it, and what is it for?
So this is my third nomination. The nomination is in the category, it's for the Grammy Award for Best Classical Solo Vocal Album. And it's my third time being nominated in this category. The first time I was nominated in this category was 2017. And actually that nomination made me the first singer of Asian descent to be nominated in this category, which is kind of extraordinary because the category has been awarded since the beginning of the Recording Academy.
Tell me a little bit about the Nico Muhly composition, the composition for which you're nominated.
So the title work of the album is Stranger, and it's a piece by Nico Muhly that is about the experience of immigration to the United States. It's composed for tenor and string quartet, and Nico has taken 6 or 7 texts that relate to immigration in the United States. Some are accounts of people coming through Ellis Island, and then others are writings that center around the Chinese Exclusion Act and are protest writings against Chinese exclusion, which was a central issue to this area.
Because you did mention the connection to the San Francisco Bay Area. It's the first part of it is about the Chinese Exclusionary Act?
Yeah, so there are 2 texts in Stranger that are directly related to Chinese exclusion, and they're protest writings against Chinese exclusion. One is a letter by Wong R-Chong, writing to, I believe it's William Lloyd Garrison, protesting Chinese exclusion. And also one of those is one of William Lloyd Garrison's speeches, I believe on the floor of the House, that was a protest against Chinese exclusion as well.
So we go to Angel Island today. How did you feel going through this, knowing that you're nominated for this work, what this work is about, what you saw today, and just let's even make it even more complicated, just the whole sentiment of what's going on in the world today?
Yeah. I've been wanting to visit Angel Island since I moved to San Francisco, and that desire has been increasingly intense since I launched into this project and began this project about 4 or 5 years ago. And I just, when you live in an area, it's so easy to not have a chance to go do the things that are of import nearby. And so today's chance to be at Angel Island was really special. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time because I've been thinking about Chinese exclusion because of Stranger intensely for a while now. And Stranger's a really unique piece for me because of the nature of my identity. I'm openly gay, half Asian. It means that as a classical singer, I'm constantly stepping into other people's shoes. That music is often told from the perspective or written by white heterosexual men. And so as a result, it's really difficult for me to directly relate to something as a half Asian gay kid who grew up in the Midwest. And Stranger has been really unique in that sense because my grandfather on my mom's side came through Ellis Island. My father is Chinese and was only able to immigrate to this country after 1965 and the Immigration Act, which was only made possible by the struggles of this community largely here in San Francisco in response to what Chinese people had to go through at Angel Island and Chinese exclusion. And so working on the piece, recording it, performing it, it's been the first time in a 20-year career that I've actually had a piece of music that I can directly relate to in such a visceral and unique way, where I feel like I'm actually telling the stories of my people. And as a result, the process has been one of self-discovery. And I think as all artists, we're constantly trying to discover ourselves, and we're trying to impact the world around us through that self-discovery, trying to find these moments of connection and shared experience and relatable experience to increase empathy and compassion around us. But this is the first time in the entirety of my career that I've had the opportunity to delve into that self-discovery in such a direct way. And I think walking around Angel Island today, the conditions were so inhumane and so segregated and dehumanizing. And I just kept saying to our tour guide and to you today, how much has changed and how much is the same. I mean, President Biden is being criticized for his immigration policies right now, which are not really that different from President Trump's. We're still pushing people back at the border. And it's extraordinary because, child of Irish immigrants, our vice president is a child of immigrants as well, both Asian and elsewhere. It's extraordinary that they're still blocking the pathway for people who want to come here because they need to.
Because they need to. I mean, that was the one thing I got from the guide today. These were people who needed to leave their home country and to come here for a better life.
I mean, I think to uproot your life in such an extreme way, to move your entire self and family and life to a new home so far away, that generally comes out of great necessity and urgency. It's an emergency situation. So, I mean, I was thinking that today, walking around and looking at these poems and the translations of the poems around the detention center. This idea that people would scratch poems into the walls around them because it was their only outlet for creativity and to sustain their spirit and express themselves. That's powerful. There's a dignity in the art and the expression and the creativity, but it's so inhumane that the only resource available to them is the wall and something to scratch into it with.
I love how you commented that they found that there was a voice, that they found a voice.
Yeah. Nico's cycle, Stranger, starts off with a quote from a scholarly article that says, "Here is the challenge. How do we as scholars give voice to the voiceless?" And it is referring largely to Chinese immigrants. And yet, here we were in Angel Island today, looking at the walls and seeing these voices preserved in the walls of the detention center because of the resilience and determination of these amazing people.
It sounds to me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that this would be very special. It's special to be nominated for this work, but the idea that how special it would be if this was the one where you won the Grammy. I want you to win it for this one.
It is always an honor to be nominated. And I feel really lucky that this is my third time. But yeah, it would be extraordinarily special to win it for this particular album, for a work that means so much to me and that has been such a gift to me. I'm so grateful to Nico for composing this, because whether he knows it or not, it's perhaps one of the greatest musical gifts I've ever received.
What would winning, just out of curiosity, what would winning a Grammy mean to you? Does it mean, the nomination itself is an honor, but what would it mean to actually win it?
The nomination itself is an honor. Winning it would mean a lot of things to me. All of my albums have been largely self-produced, and to have that kind of work recognized by the Academy and my peers in that way would mean the world. And as an Asian artist, it's very easy to feel overlooked. And a win would mean that I feel seen, at least in some way.